Welcome back, guys, to another YouTube video. Today I want to talk about building my own computer, the ups, the downs, the whole process, and letting you know if in the end it was all worth it. But before I get into that, let's talk about why at all do I need a new computer. So a couple months ago, I was trying to play Hogwarts Legacy for the first time ever. And at the time, I had a GTX 1080 i7 4700K, I believe, and for the most part that computer was working just fine. For video editing, worked just fine. For browsing the internet, worked just fine. Most video games up until like 3 years ago worked just fine. Pulling up Hogwarts Legacy, I've never had my computer just go so slow. Now, I'm not one to put things on low settings. I wanna rock with at least medium settings, and it was chugging along just to do the first troll boss fight. And so it got me thinking, do I need to build a new computer? What would it even look like if I did? This PC I had bought used in 2017, but it was basically the top of the line at the time. And again, up until November 2025, it has worked just fine. However, now that I was trying to dip my toes back into gaming, it just wasn't gonna cut it. Or at least not for me. It lasted a good 8 years, which was nice, which was lovely. But now I just had an itch. I had an itch that needed to get scratched. And that scratch was building a new computer. So I was doing some research, and it turns out I couldn't just slap a new graphics card into my computer and just be all good, because then my CPU would be bottlenecking. And currently with the CPU that I had, it was very limiting for any new game. So I'd have to upgrade the CPU. The CPU also couldn't really be upgraded without upgrading the motherboard, because the motherboard could only handle like a couple generations from 5 years ago. So I was like, okay, if I'm gonna have to upgrade the CPU, the motherboard, the graphics card, I might have to upgrade just the whole thing. And that got me thinking, well, I've always wanted to do that. What could I do to make my own PC? My old PC was doing 1080p on high to ultra settings, no problem, at 60 frames per second. But that was really pushing it at the time. So I wanted to do 1440p. I wanted to do double the frame rate, preferably. If I could get like 100 frames per second or anything like that, I was stoked. And if I could also do ultra settings, I would be super stoked. Another thing is I wanted to do some streaming on the side. Not that I'm gonna become a streamer, but I wanted to be able to play a game and do other things in the background and not have my CPU completely destroy itself. So that was another requirement. So since I was building for the future, I wanted a gaming PC that would outclass my old one by every metric. So after all those requirements, I went to PC Part Picker and started picking out items that I thought looked cool and shiny. And I came to this list. Boom, 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 boom. Now a lot of people really like RGB, the glass side, and really big, chunky boy type computers. For me, I was like, well, if I'm gonna build one, I wanna build a nice, small, sexy one, one that says modern day. And so that's what I did. Now, mind you, this is all taking place in November of 2025. So around that time is Black Friday. I am preparing to get sale after sale after sale on Black Friday. But then news of Ramageddon started populating on my YouTube feed and in the news, and I started seeing prices of RAM going up, and I was like, oh shoot, I gotta buy it now. RAM prices started to skyrocket, and so I bought RAM at this price. And now it's this price. Crazy. So I didn't buy any of my parts on Black Friday besides like two things, and that was it. At the same time, while I knew RAM was going up in price, I didn't realize how many other things were gonna go up in price afterwards. So right now, I'm completely oblivious to how fortunate I am to get these parts before everything just either went out of stock or got so expensive that no one wants to afford it. It's pure coincidence and timing that at the time that I want to build a new computer, I build it before everything just goes to shit, you know? I'm so sorry for anybody who's seeing this after all this is taking place and just can't afford it anymore. Like, even if I really didn't need a new computer, which, you know, honestly, I guess I could have just stopped gaming and been okay with that. But I'm glad I got these parts because it looks like, at least for the next 5 years, I wouldn't have been able to upgrade. I would have not been able to do anything because these prices are ridiculous. I eventually did get my parts and it was time to assemble the PC. This video was actually originally going to be a tutorial of making a PC because for some reason I thought I knew how to do it because I had watched Linus Tech Tips. I was gravely mistaken. Play the clips of me being frustrated. Alright, so I'm hecka dumb. I don't know. Where's the manual? Bro, it says check the manual. The manual doesn't say. I would assume this is 2 and this is 4. Ooh, man, I do not want to force this in. Okay. What the crap is going on now? For some reason that feels like a lot of pressure on here. More than the first time. Holy moly, what is going on here? Oh my goodness. And again, I don't have a manual. Ugh. You know what, I'm gonna keep it like that for now. We'll figure it out in a second. Yeah, it turns out if you just watch a tech channel for entertainment purposes, sometimes you just don't actually know what you're doing until you actually apply it. So yeah, that process of building a PC was so grueling. Not only because I was still trying to figure out how to do it correctly, but also because I'm doing it in a small form factor. So there was many times where I'm running a cable and then installing the radiator and then realizing, oh shoot, I forgot I had to add another cable behind the radiator that I have to fully unscrew to get that cable in. And then I would reattach the radiator and then realize, oh shoot, that connection I can't reach and it's not plugged in, so I have to unscrew the radiator again and do it again. And there were so many situations like that where I would do one step and then I would have to go 2 steps back to fix something that I did and then go again 2 more steps forward just to find out that I messed it up again. It was quite frustrating. So I would highly recommend, if you're gonna build a PC, don't assume you know how to do it. Read some instructions and watch a tutorial first. Honestly, it's not too bad, but knowing everything and where it's supposed to go and why it's supposed to go somewhere is quite helpful. What should have been like maybe a 2-hour, 3-hour job took me, I'm sad to say it took me like 12 hours. I think I started at like 8 o'clock. I think I started at 8 o'clock in the morning and I stopped at like 6 at night, still struggling to get it done, right? And then I thought I didn't have the power connector I needed for my graphics card, so I drove all the way to Best Buy, grabbed one, drove all the way home just to find out that I actually had the power connector the whole time. Then I set it up again or I set it up, got the finishing touches on there, and I still had to boot this up. It was the moment. It is 11:30 at night. I've been working on this all day. Literally way too long. But I just made this new computer. I'm gonna power it on for the first time. I got my keyboard here, I got a mouse. Computer is plugged in at the power supply over here. I am turning on the power here. On the back, I have my SSD, which is basically my USB. Hopefully it boots up. There's no power on my SSD card, or on my SSD drive, or my mouse. So I don't know if that means anything. Maybe I have to turn it on first. And it doesn't boot. Son of a gun. Okay, I press the power button again. Still nothing. It was late at night, and while I thought I had done everything correctly, clearly I didn't. And in such a small form factor, again, I have to take off the side panel, I have to disconnect some wires, remove the graphics card just to see what was going on. Turns out the power button wasn't connected to the correct pins. And thankfully, once I reassembled it, and when I hit power again, it turned on. Oh shit. It's turning on. It's turning on. After all my struggle, after all my hard work, I finally had a running computer. I went to sleep, and then the next day, I downloaded all the essential apps and got Battlefield open to see if I had really built a computer built for gaming. So this isn't an exact test or anything, but it looks like in Battlefield, in ultra settings, I can get about 120 FPS. And then in high settings, I can get about 150 to 160 FPS, which is so insane. We said we weren't messing around, right? So here we are. I realized if I'm gonna spend $2,000 on a PC, I might as well spend a couple $100 on a monitor so that I can actually see and not seeing screen tearing where every moment you turn, everything's crystal clear and sharp and you can actually see people in the distance. Now, did seeing people actually improve my skill level? No. But I for sure felt that it did. maybe I'm like 5% better because of that. All that money was well spent, you know. Now I've talked about my computer quite a bit, but I haven't showed you my computer like I see it. Time for that sizzle reel. Cool. Has it been worth it? And yes, yes it has. As someone who uses their computer every day for browsing online or typing or video editing or now gaming, everything has been so much faster. My previous PC, if I booted it on, it would be a good minute to actually fully be on. Whereas this one, I click it and in like 2 seconds it's up. And for someone who hasn't experienced that in forever, honestly, the $2,000 price tag might be worth it. And I'm kind of joking and I'm kind of not. I do get so much use out of my computer already that to have one that's personalized to me, that's small, that's nice looking, that's quiet, I am so stoked. And again, with the recent news of computers skyrocketing in price, where now no one can really afford it, I have zero buyer's remorse because now my computer is appreciating value, which is basically unheard of. Well, thank you guys for tuning in and watching this video. If you made it this far and you like computer stuff, stay tuned for my NAS video. That's coming very soon. And if you haven't subscribed already and you think based off this video you might like it, subscribe, like the video, comment please. I really do like reading your comments. I only get like 5. so I'm so down. If you send one, I'll read it and I'll be super happy. What else? What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, occasionally I do stream, so if you like seeing a guy die many times, that might be up your alley. Come to me, Zeke Honeydew, and I'll stream occasionally. See you guys.